This video is about sales. It's going to be about identity, words, activating people, and it's going to be a fun post-mortem of a Vivek speech. And let's begin.
Thanks for walking in here. So let's make them feel welcome here in Plymouth County, guys. Give it up for them.
Good to be back. Good to see you guys. How'd you get up there? I like that. That's good. That's good. Last time we did the ice cream shop, but today's our pizza ranch day. I think we're going to 6 pizza ranches today. So that's a new record. I want to have an open conversation.
In this opening sequence, let's start by introducing the members of the team and articulating their roles. Let those people say hello. We want to nudge the attendees to let them know there is more, that the experience continues after this event, and that these staffers are a conduit to the larger Vivek community. The reaction to this is behavioral chemistry. Attendees will mirror this, and it shapes and defines how they perceive of their own participation. For example, one might think, I am here because of ... And you want to invite this contemplation as early as possible so that they have that awareness throughout the entire event. They can extend themselves into, I'm an attendee that came here to listen, and if I liked it, enroll to become a caucus captain. But they're coming there with expectations of something. And I'm an attendee that became a captain that also wants to host local Vivek meetups and so on and so on. Let's interrogate that entrance again, but in slow motion. Look at it through the eyes of an attendee. It's like there is a curtain the staffers are kept behind. We need to pierce that veil. You can even see attendees' eyes following these mysterious beings as they come into the restaurant and then fade into the background. And also, look at it through the eyes of the staffers themselves. They would prefer to have a warm introduction now at the open rather than at the speech's end, which would disrupt the pace and the momentum. So we want to remove that hurdle. Let's keep going.
I want to have an open conversation. We don't do that enough in this country, actually. We have this culture of fear that has spread across this country like an epidemic. Fear of losing your job, fear of your kids getting a bad grade in school, fear of becoming an outcast in your own community. And that culture of fear has sucked our free speech culture out of the United States of America. And so, you want to know how we're going to get this country back? I'll tell you. It is by all of us starting to speak the truth in the open again. And that's what I'm going to do here to kick this off.
Do you want to know how we're going to get this country back? Is remarkable. It's a great statement. But what's not so great is then immediately following up with, that's what I'm going to do. Because what you've done is you've engaged people's sense of urgency and sense of action and their own sense of belonging. And as quickly as you engage them with their identity and their own kind of sense of participation in how to bring this country back, you've now disengaged them by saying, that's what I'm going to do. We want to keep them activated. We want to make sure nothing we say deactivates them. We want to drive them to an action. So what would be great is to say, do you know how we're going to get this country back? And what would be great is to say, that's what we're going to do. Thing is, now we have to define what we are going to do. What specifically do you want the attendees to do? What is their sequence? Activate them to do something. As Keyshawn Johnson said, give me the damn ball. Give these people the damn ball. That's it. Next.
My parents came to this country 40 years ago with no money, in search of opportunity. And in a single generation, I have gone on to found multiple successful companies, multi-billion-dollar businesses. I did it while marrying my wife, Apurva, who is a throat surgeon at Ohio State, where she's caring for cancer survivors. That's where she is today. She'll be here for the first 2 weeks of January with me, taking off from that. But raising our...
So he says that Apurva is going to be coming to visit and become part of the campaign in early parts of January. So here is where, again, we want to keep building up that relationship with the attendee. Because if a porva is coming, that can either be just an anecdote, which is how it's expressed by Vivek, or it can be some type of intimacy. A porva is going to be coming here. I hope everybody has a chance to find out when and where she's going to be speaking. Hopefully can go there and have a chat with her. I think it just feels better. It's keeping people engaged. I'll stop with that moment and let's keep going.
Raising our two sons, following our faith in God. I'm worried that that American dream isn't going to exist for our two kids in their generation unless we all step up and do something about it.
We're going to talk a little bit about who are those attendees, why are they there? I think this is important because I think you have them and then you let them go. So this is the discussion of a part of a person's identity, how they perceive of themselves, how they want others to perceive of them, and why are they there. So let's assume they already know who Vivek is, right? They've seen him on TV or on social media or in interviews, so they have some familiarity. So why are they there? They're there to immerse themselves fuller in the Vivek experience. They're also there to be engaged and to do something after. So they're there to get a prescription and to follow it and adhere to that prescription and do something next. They're there to do something next. So we want to always make sure we're giving them that next thing to do. And it has to be immediate. What we're going to do is just follow up every time that a person creates urgency. I'm worried about my country. The next thing is the immediate remedy to that. Whatever it is that creates urgency, we want to activate that person with a cathartic release. So it's not just about caucusing, it's about joining the Vivek Rebel Alliance. And then what is the Vivek Rebel Alliance? Well, the Vivek Rebel Alliance people, I'm just making this all up now, but can have meetups and can do this and that. We want to make sure that we're satisfying people's identity, their need to be activated, their need to have a cathartic release, their need to respond to urgency. That's it. Next.
And I think that I see a Republican Party now that has grown lazy. That's why I'm in this race.
Okay, so let's look at what's just happened. It's gone from Vivek's concerns about losing a national sense of identity, which is an activation. We all respond to losing a national sense of identity, and then we look for instructions on how to regain that national sense of identity. What would have been ideal is to then tell people what to do next. Join the Rebel Alliance, go do the meetups. And that's not what happened. Instead, what happened then is it went to professorial type of mode, and it returned to the story of I. That's why I'm in this race. And that neglects the identity and the purpose of the attendees. So what might be optimal, that's why I'm in this race, and that's why you're in this race too. Put them in the race. They're in the race. They're running that relay with Vivek. Next.
Race, gender, sexuality, climate. And we're sitting here complaining about that vision, but without offering our own alternative vision of what we actually stand for.
And when you caucus for me, you stand for
individual, family, nation, God. That beats race, gender, sexuality, and climate. That the people if we elect to run the government ought to be the ones who actually run the government, not the deep state and the managerial bureaucracy that's running the show today. You want to drain the swamp? Here's how we do it.
If you want to drain the swamp, here's how we do it. And you've got people excited. They feel activated, animated. This is it. They want the instruction. They want a sequence, a logical, rational sequence. But they don't get that. They don't get a logical sequence. Instead, let's see what happens next.
Bureaucracy that's running the show today. You want to drain the swamp? Here's how we do it. fire 75% of the federal bureaucrats by the end of my first term. That much we will get done, half of it by the end of the first year. If I can't work for you for more than 8 years as your next president, which is a good thing, by the way, neither should any of those federal bureaucrats.
Okay, so as you saw and heard, here's how you destroy the deep state. You destroy the deep state by waiting them out for a couple more years until something other happens and things keep going on, is how you beat the deep state. So let's keep going.
Their shoulders. That's what it requires to drive change in this country. That is the war that I will wage as your next president. Not some foreign war in Iraq, Afghanistan 2.0, which is modern Ukraine or worse. The war I will wage is on our own shadow government right here in the United States of America. That is the war we need to win. To get there.
Okay, here we've had about 4 instances of the word war used within about a 30-second span. Maybe I counted a little bit wrong. Maybe it was about 35 seconds. Nonetheless, that's a lot of war. When you use the word war on hunger, war on homelessness, war on drugs, war on terror, war on, gosh, I've lost so many wars in my short lifetime, I think. Then there's the Afghanistan war, Ukraine war. There's kind of this endless kind of a continuum of wars. If you're going to use the word war, it's a great word to use as long as it's being used to initiate a sequence then. If you're saying that there's a war, that also means you want to make sure that those people are equipped to properly defend themselves. So saying it's a war and then not immediately telling people to caucus, not immediately telling people how they can hold meetups, how they can present resistance, how they can be in opposition, how they can win. What's happening is it creates despair, it creates frustration, and it doesn't give it any outlet, any release. The mind becomes troubled by it, but the mind isn't presented with an alternative.
To tell you that I will pardon every peaceful protester from January 6th, because that's the right thing to do for this country, even if it's not a fashionable thing to say in the Republican Party. There's a reason why I'm the only candidate who's able to say these things to you.
And if you caucus for me, you are giving those people their freedom back. Next.
You to do your part on January 15th. You got a choice to make. If you want somebody who's going to get in there and speak truth to power, then vote for somebody who's at least going to speak the truth to you.
Nope. People have a choice to make right now, not January 15th. People will make their choice right now, and they will express that choice on January 15th. So people, make your choice, and on January 15th, let it be heard. Next.
America. I love that flag, young man. Tell me, how old are you?
10.
You're 10? Do you have a question? Okay. Well, I just like being patriotic. That's good. And I'm teaching my son the Pledge of Allegiance. Can you say, you know the Pledge of Allegiance? Did they say it in your school?
We homeschool.
Homeschool. Good. Well, I hope you say it in that school. That's good. Like, it's good to
Okay, everybody. Let's everybody do the Pledge of Allegiance. I will lead it. Let's go. That being said, you do the Pledge of Allegiance, becomes a viral clip. Next.
First off, thank you for holding Ronna McDaniel accountable at your last debate.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And for attacking the media, too. What would you say to a lot of middle Americans who feel betrayed by our own party and by the coasts who take us for granted every single year?
Well, that's a great question. Thank you very much. I would say vote for me. Caucus for me. Next.
Take us for granted every single year.
Well, I also want to use this as a chance to open your eyes up right now, even in the context of this election, to what I think is happening. So now more than ever, we are in a war. And I call it a war because there's no middle ground here between meritocracy and group quotas. You cannot have both. Between free speech and censorship, you cannot have both. Between American exceptionalism and American apologism, you cannot have both. We're at a fork in the road. We have to make a choice. And I think we need now more than ever a commander-in-chief who will lead us to victory in this war. Somebody who knows that the hour is late. We're not working with a lot of time here.
War, hours late, urgency, and so on and so on and so on. All of this drives an action to do something now. War, urgency. So we need to give people that cathartic release, that type of a chemical release that is the equivalent of voting right now, right? We're not waiting until January 15th. Voting right now, taking an action right now, defending their principles right now, asserting their own individuality, their sense of freedom, their sense of identity right now needs to happen when you use words like that. And let's keep going. Next.
2. And with your help, on January 15th, that is what we will revive to save this great nation. So that our best days, not in some cheesy politician way, but in a true way, so that we can make sure that our best days are actually still ahead of us. Thank you for coming today, guys. God bless you and your families. And may God bless our United States of America. I love that one, man. Get up here. I want to take a picture of you. Wow.
If you recall in the beginning of this, the optimal was to introduce all of Vivek's teammates, all of his campaign aides, what their roles are, their names, their responsibilities, and set expectations for what they will be doing. So in the very earliest part, you say you'll be meeting them throughout this event, you'll be meeting them afterwards, and they'll be helping you people caucus, and they'll be helping you with any meetups that you might want to do, or any type of visibility or bumper stickers, or however we can be of help, they're around for you. So now we're at the end of the speech, and now you reintroduce them. I want to thank everybody for being here, and I want to bring forward all the colleagues that I've got, all of the Vivek Rebel Alliance. Here is this person, here's that person. Again, reintroduce them, reintroduce their names. They're here for you. They're going to be walking around, and hopefully you'll have a chance to introduce yourself to them, or they can introduce themselves to you. Set you up for caucus captain, set you up for the date, set you up for any materials that we can give you and be of any help, and anything we can do to help you win with the Vivek Rebel Alliance. We're recalling them to the stage and to the forefront so they can wave to everybody, so that Vivek can transfer over that intimacy to them, that authority, that they are part of me, that they're an extension of this whole campaign, that they're with us, and it's that they're a valued key member of the Vivek Rebel Alliance, and they are a conduit to any type of future events, any type of future meet and greets, any type of information that people are going to want. But most importantly, we're doing this because once the speech is over, the last thing, the thing we do not want, is for those people to be burdened with a cold introduction to the attendees. Next. Okay, so we're going to replay those last few seconds. So from the time that Vivek stops speaking, we'll see he does a handoff of his microphone to one of the staffers. The staffers comes forward a little bit. Vivek then welcomes some young fellow.
So please help yourself. While you're doing so, please go ahead and fill out a caucus card. It's the best way to get involved with the campaign and become a precinct captain. What we do is we'll supply a script for you, caucus night, and it's pretty simple. Just help us communicate with your neighbors and friends. So thank you, everyone.
We want to lift up that obstacle, and the way we do that is at the very beginning of this, if we make those introductions and Vivek transfers over some of his warmth to the staffers, and some of that recognition and some of that familiarity, it makes the staffers work a lot easier, and they will have a line greeting them to sign up. So rather them having to go out on an expedition to find caucus goers and to find people who are engaged and interested in moving forward and doing other things with the campaign, they'll find that those people are instead seeking them out. Next. Okay, so we are almost done, just a little bit left to go. And now we're going to go away from the speech itself. We're going to go away from the question and answer. And we're just going to take a look at some engagements and how can those interactions be improved. Next.
Thank you. We're not even wavering on that. We're rock solid on that
I
one.
just can't
So thank you.
understand how no one else has
It's
the guts
unbelievable.
to stand up for that.
The special interests.
It's unbelievable.
You know, there was the puppet masters.
And that's all there is to it.
It's a corrupt system. They tried to get to me too. I mean, they told me to shut up about it.
I believe it.
I refuse to do that. I refuse to do that. So we're going to always stand for what's right.
Have you met my campaign staff? Next.
I wanted to tell you, I've been voting since I was 18. I'm 61 now. You are the first candidate that I've ever trusted and am willing to listen to and follow.
That means a lot to me.
Just wanted to tell you that.
I take that seriously. I view that as a responsibility.
Yes. And stuff, so I'm
We won't let you down,
all
okay?
way, and I'll be at the caucus for you.
Spread the message in this community, and we're going to do this.
I have been.
We're going to do this. Thank you. What's your name?
Shirley.
Shirley. Thank you, Shirley.
Is there anything I can do to help with turnout? The winner asks for the sale more. That's it. Have a wonderful day. Hope this has been fun. It's been fun for me. Bye.